Okay, you guys, it's week 4 of Future Boards. Can you believe we only have 2 more weeks after this? It's crazy, right? But really 2 weeks and then tons of amazing stuff. I got to give a shout out to Crystalline, who scheduled a call this week, because as she was working through things, she realized there was an area she was extra stuck in, and we talked through a lot of it yesterday, and I think it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. So if any of you guys, like I said, if you are feeling stuck or there's areas you want extra help with, schedule those one-on-one calls, because there's a lot that we can chat about. There's a lot that I can share. Yeah, Debbie?
Is the scheduling link in the group pages on the post?
Make a note to yourself that says Calendly, and then you can type that in the, you know how you can type in the search bar to find things?
Okay.
It's CALENDLY. That'll make it, then you don't have to scroll. Just type that in and it'll pull up my link.
Okay.
I need to double check my availability because next week is crazy with holiday events, but I don't know if anything's been added since I created it. But yes, schedule that time, because we can dig a lot deeper into things personally for you, any of you that want that time. How did, after our call last week, how did you guys feel about your live list? Or did anything anybody wants to talk about this week from what we learned last week with experiences over things and live lists and all of that? Anybody want to share anything?
I feel like our discussion about making it like only about you and not about like something you want to do with like for your husband or for your, like making it about me, was like made me think of things that I'm like, oh yeah, I really would like to do that like hadn't really been on my radar before. Like I would love to take baking classes. Like I love to bake. I always love to bake. I feel like I'm good at it, but that is something, like if I'm being totally selfish, I would love to take baking classes for no other reason besides the fact that I like to bake.
See? But when you are constantly putting everybody else in your stream of thought of what's going to happen, your stuff gets covered up, you know, for sure. Anybody else have anything? Thank you, Tiffany. I love that. You saying that reminds me, and nobody here I don't think is this extreme, but in my first marriage, when we were going to counseling trying to save it, the therapist said to me, if for one entire date night you guys could do only what you wanted to do, Christy, and it didn't matter if he loved it or hated it or got a vote in it, it was just what would make you happy. What would you want to do? I legit could not come up with one thing. I had completely lost who I was trying to make myself who I thought, who he would be happy with. So that's extreme. I don't know that anybody is that extreme on here, but yes, it's eye-opening. Erin, did you have something?
I was just going to say I'm the exact same way. Like I had to really stop and think of, okay, what is it that I want to do? Not that didn't include my husband. I wasn't worried about my parents or my friends. It was, okay, all about me. And it was a lot more difficult than I anticipated, just because, I mean, my I don't want to say my goals, but, you know, my dreams were included, you know, building my parents a house and my in-laws, and half of my, you know, lives list did include everybody else. So I had to really think.
Yeah. Do you know why? I'm going to share with you guys why, or one of the reasons, not the only reason why, but one reason it is so important to make your dreams about yourself and your future board about yourself is because when it comes down, when life gets really hard, when you have to do things that scare you in order to move forward or to have extra success, when you have the option to do something even greater, but it scares you, if your dream board is about everybody else, you subconsciously or unconsciously give yourself an out. So for Erin wanting to build her parents a house, for whatever reason that is, at the end, when she goes to bed at night and she realized that day she had the opportunity to do something that was going to scare her to death, but that could potentially make her a lot more money or do something really amazing, but she doesn't do it because everybody's comfortable, but it'd be so nice if she bought her parents a house. Like, she's like, they're okay. Like, it's not, you know, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Erin, but if something were to happen right now and you never bought your parents a house, like, it would be sad because you wanted to do that, but it wouldn't be heartbreaking. Which
Correct.
Means, is that right? Like they're okay.
Correct.
And I don't
They're
think
fine.
but they're okay, but you love them so much you want to give them something grander. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. So if something were to happen and either and they were gone quickly or soon, it wouldn't be heart-wrenching. You wouldn't just sob because you never got to do that for
Oh,
them.
no, not at all.
Okay, so you are not emotionally tied into that dream.
No, it's just,
And
I
it's
would
an
like
okay
to,
thing. Like, it's nice. I'm not saying don't do that one day. I'm just saying these dreams and these pictures and these visions that you're going to create, they've got to be about you. Because
sure.
I want, like, if you, here is what it should come down to. If you found out suddenly that you had 6 months to live, you should look at your board and start ticking off those things. Like, let's be honest. If you found out you had 6 months to live, you're not worried about credit card debt. You're not worried about work. You're not worried about anything. You are looking at and you're not worried about building your parents a house. You're looking at your future board, and the things that are on it should be things like start scheduling, start booking these things, start making these trips, start going on this experience. You know, and heck, I don't have long to live, but I really want this fancy car. So I'm going to go get a short-term lease, and my husband can legit turn it in when I pass away. But for 6 months, I drove the car of my dreams. You know, does that make sense? So when these dreams are all about you guys, that's what it should feel like. Like, you could, like, it's going to really, like if I can promise you without a shadow of a doubt that if we found out in my family that I was sick again, the number one first step after talking to my kids and my parents would be my husband booking a trip to Greece for our entire family. It's been on my list forever. And it hasn't happened. And we've agreed that when we have more abundant wealth, that's going to be the first thing that we do. For me, there's places he'd rather go, but for me, that's what we're going to do first. And I can 100% guarantee you, if you called Rob Barkley right now and said, Christy has 2 months to live, what's the first thing you're going to do? He's going to take off work and we're heading to Greece in a week. That's how emotionally tied in to your dreams. Because then what happens when you have tough choices, or you have things that, you know, for some of us in Plexus, like, it means reaching out and talking to people and telling them about our products. Like, that's a scary thing to do because there's so much rejection involved in that. But then if we know there's so much of our heart tied into it, and if we just get over ourselves and do these things, like, our dreams can absolutely become reality. Is that helpful to anybody? Put a little more perspective on why it really has to be about you. Let me ask you this. If that, let's say, same scenario, each of you just found out you have 2 months to live. You're going to be a mess. You're going to want to take care of your kids. My instinct is going to be, I know all the things I have to take care of because I've been in that position. I've written the letters. I've set things up. But what would your husband immediately do knowing you didn't have long to live? What would he immediately do for you? Does your husband know what that is? Like, does he know without a shadow of a doubt what he would do immediately to fulfill, because it's been such a huge dream of yours and he knows he can't let you pass without that happening?
I'm really sad to say that no, I don't think he would know what to do.
So we want to change that, right? Anybody else?
You're not alone, Crystalline. I mean, he would have an idea, like he would take me on a Disney cruise because he knows that I would like that. But
something huge, like,
yeah,
you know,
like
because that wouldn't be out of the realm of
on his own.
Yeah, and a Disney cruise, that's not out of the realm of realistic for you guys. Especially like taking your whole entire family, that's a huge pocket of change.
That's a huge, but
for just you and your husband to be able to go, you really probably could do that anytime. Like, this is something, I want your dream and what your husband wants to do for you, because it's so important to you, to literally, like, it would be a sacrifice. It's something that they wouldn't do naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's
Yes.
how big I want your dreams to be. And your loved ones to be engaged in them. Anybody else? Tiffany? It's got to be bigger than a baking class.
I think
Although I like that. I do like that.
totally selfish. I think he knows me well enough to say, oh, she needs to be on a beach. We're gonna go to a beautiful warm beach for however long. But I don't know if that's what I would pick.
Okay.
I would love that. I love the beach.
You love the beach, yeah.
But I don't. If I had 2 months, I don't, like, I've been to the beach. Let's go do something that we haven't done.
Yeah, or go like to the Maldives and get one of those floating houses on stilts.
Yeah.
Like, you know, really, like, this is where I want you guys, as we're creating these Pinterest boards, digging really huge. Remember I've said, like, take your dream and Kardashian size it. Like, make it big, because here's the thing. We're going to create your future board, and guess who's going to see it? Your spouse and your kids, for those of you that have children. They're going to learn really quick because Rob and I did this trick about a month ago. And I said, and when it was basically similar to this question, and I asked him, what would you do? He, true story, because he's been in my office so many times, without pausing, listed 5 or 6 things that were on my future board that he would do for me immediately. And here, but prior to, it's not because Rob's awesome. That's because poor Rob has been going through this process with me since July, right? Prior to that, he would be stumped after a trip to Greece. That would be the end of the list. We'd go to Greece, and then it'd be like, okay, now what do you want? Like a new Louis Vuitton? You really liked that. Should we get more of those? Like, he would be stuck, right? Tiffany Johnson.
While you're talking, I'm realizing, and the thoughts like kind of hitting me square in the face, that I'm still playing small. I'm not dreaming big enough, and I'm selling myself completely short.
Yeah. Because like with Debbie, like, I love that they would go on a cruise, but that's not big enough. If you could do it in the next 12 months without making a major sacrifice to your family, then that's not a big enough dream. That's a realistic dream. That's just when you haven't decided to stick money in an envelope and book the trip yet. Now, I'm not saying you wouldn't enjoy it and it wouldn't be cool. I'm just saying that's not what we're doing. We're doing crazy, right? We're doing crazy. Like, your husband's walking in and going, what in the world? Because they're like, you want that stuff? You like that? Like, okay, cool. Tiffany Johnson.
All right, so here's my question on this. We talk about dreaming big.
Deep breath.
Why does it have to be like massive, like excessive?
Because even if you only get 1% of the way to it, it's still an awesome dream.
Okay. So
Some of it doesn't all have to be massive, but it needs to be way, way bigger than realistic and just unfulfilled yet.
I guess because like
Tell
I
me
think
where
of
you're
it,
stuck.
well, like I don't know, maybe it's because my mind's already changing towards this, but I'm like, well, I don't think it's unrealistic to be able to go and do these things.
Okay, so you're already shifting to where they're not that big.
I guess.
So give me an example.
Well, like I want to take my family and go to see the pyramids in Egypt
Okay.
and do like a whole shebang there. I want to go do a real African safari and like see all the wild animals and
Yeah.
be like sitting with them. So I mean, like that doesn't seem too unrealistic. Like I'm kind of planning on that.
So that's good. So what you will do when you start to envision, and I'll show you when we are doing the examples on Pinterest, is you're just going to dig deep into those experiences. So when you are on, so here, the only person this won't make sense to is Erin, and I apologize. When you are on an African safari, Celeste Gwynn size it, because they do that. So the extra touches, like like maybe you're getting the $20,000 African safari trip, but then you add all these extra personal touches and extra visits and extra experiences and hands-on experiences with your kids, that it turns into the $40,000. And I don't like attaching money to it, but does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're going to get deeper. So no, those are great dreams. Those are huge, awesome, wonderful dreams. So when we're Pinteresting, we're going to really dig into like, how do we make it extra special? Just because, okay, here's an example of how manifesting works. And maybe this will answer your question a little better. So Sarah Centrella, who wrote this book, she always wanted to take her kids, like Paris is her place. Paris and Italy, those are like her passion places. So some things lucked out with plane tickets and different things where it was like tough for her to afford it, but she took her 3 kids to Paris, right? Well, apparently she also loves Andrea Botticelli. Am I saying it correct? You know who I'm talking about, right? Okay, she loves him. And apparently she has, since her kids were little, has always played his music in their home. And so all the kids love him, like they like their teenage music. But they've always played that, and they've talked about how cool would it be to see him in concert one day, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, not like he's like, Taylor Swift and he's touring all over and like it just, so they've always talked about this and seeing him in, how amazing it would be. And so she had on her future board, like him performing at this big place in Paris, and she had envisioned that. Well, they're on like kind of like travel on a dime trip to this Paris trip, because her books haven't been published, like none of that yet. So they're in Paris, and when they got there, they found out he was actually performing a one night only like Christmas event. I think it was a Christmas event, that's irrelevant. There at that place where she had her picture of this, where whatever it is, performance hall. Of course, tickets are sold out. Then she goes to like see like even what they could sell for on the street or whatever, and there's a fortune. Like there's no way she can go, right? So They are near there, like off, like around whatever, and they are eating baguettes and have an espresso, whatever, sitting outside of a cafe, and they hear him. He was doing sound check with the door open. In the back hallway was literally like 50 yards from where they were eating. And they got up and they went and they watched like 45 minutes of his sound check and practices. Like, that's crazy manifesting that didn't cost anything. So when I say make them huge, like, think of things, because so let's say you take the $20,000 trip to an African safari, and you don't have the money to overbook it and do all these things, but on your vision board, you've had these different experiences that, you know, take it up a notch on your vision board. What if you're at a thing and they go, you know, your family is amazing. Come over. We're doing this thing over here, and they bring you over to do it for free. Like, that's manifesting. But that only happens if you're putting it out there. Is that helpful or no?
Yes, I think it's helpful. And so one of the downsides is that I listened to our call. My husband was in the car, so we started talking a lot about it. And he, of course, is like asking a bunch of questions, like, what is this? He got real excited. And he was real excited to hear my dreams and my experiences. He's like, you want to go on an African safari? I was like, yeah, I do. Because he never really thought of that.
Yeah.
So he was real excited about it. But what he started doing, he's an engineer, he's a thinker, he's excessively thinking and logical. And he's like, why do you have to go so big? And why do you have to do that? But doesn't it set yourself up for disappointment and, you know, things like that? Because you're not going to get, you know, when you don't get there, as opposed to like the whole manifesting what you just described of. But then what if it happens because you created it, you put it in the universe, and then it just happened? So, you know, that's why I've been like, he's been getting in my head. I told him to stop, but
He's in your head. So here's the other thing. So there's, I don't know, there's maybe 30 pictures over here on my board, on my wall. Even if only 2 of these came true, man, that'd be so cool. Because everything on here is so big for me. And so I want it so badly. That's why we go big. Because we're not going to get it all. But even if we get a little bit of it, how exciting is that? Erin?
So I was trying to talk to my husband about this, and the way I explained it is that if I shoot for the moon, even if I fall among the stars, I've gotten a portion of it. And that was just my explanation of it.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's 100% true. Like, you know, what are the chances of every single thing on my wall coming true? I don't know. I don't know. Not huge, but they're getting me closer to what makes me happy. They're getting me closer to why I go to work every day and why I do what I do. And that's really intentional. Is that helpful? And I'll be honest, our husbands, they're not huge fans of this dreaming big thing. Maybe because let's be real, they love us so much, they want to give us everything that we want. And if we start wanting all these huge things, they're like, oh, that's a lot. I don't really know what. Does that make sense? Because they do. At the end of the day, our husbands want us to have everything that they want. It's helpful if they know what we want. That's a start. But then, because they're logical, because they put pen to paper and then they add it up on a calculator, they're like, oh, dude, can you take it down a notch? Like, just a notch. Can you tone it down just a little bit? And you're like, no, we'll figure it out. Or we'll get close. You know, so Sarah didn't have tickets to see him perform his whole performance. But how cool to stand in the alleyway with the doors open in the back and him literally, it was like the side stage door opened up into this alleyway where they were. That's pretty cool. And that was free. So, okay, other thoughts, questions? That's so good from last week. Okay, tell me your thoughts on this week. Like I said, I don't know if everybody was on it yet, but totally my bad for posting the homework, which I knew because I have it written down and not looking in advance and realizing a lot of what this homework is, you maybe weren't able to do it all before this call. So, but who did it? Who has started Pinteresting things? Erin?
I started yesterday, and I've actually had a lot of fun with it. It's been really good for me.
You froze a lot, but I heard fun and good for me. Right?
Hey, sorry, can you hear me a little better?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I was just, and it's been really good for me.
Has it? Just
Mhm.
seeing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the 5 core areas, right? Relationships, career and ambitions, mind and body, passions and joys, and wealth and abundance. So you started a lot of that with your live list, right? That was a good way to start your feelings or just your thought process to get it going. Are there any questions about the 5 core areas? Okay, I'm going to do a little tutorial thing because I thought I was pretty good at Pinterest. I learned so many new cool tricks. So I'm going to do a little share my screen with you guys at the end. Okay, relationships. You guys good with that? Do you know what that looks like when you're like making relationships on your future board? It could be like girlfriends. Maybe you want a couple of good core girlfriends to do things with. Then how about I just show you? I'm going to show you guys, okay? Because sometimes visualizing is way better than, hold on. I wonder if I could have some more things open. Hold on. All right. Okay, can you guys see my Pinterest board? If you're on your phone, it might be hard, but okay, so here's how it starts. You create your different boards. Debbie, have you used Pinterest? Debbie's my closest to technologically challenged friend on here, so I want to make sure.
I have, yes.
Okay.
I actually am Pinterest literate. Well, I thought I was Facebook literate until
you started Plexus?
well, yeah, and it decided to change things. I still don't get don't ask me why I don't get pink help notifications in my feed. Don't ask. I have no idea. Can't figure it. It's okay.
All right, so relationships. So here's what I did. I have a relationships, HBR, a wealth and abundance, HBR, mind and body. So I have my different boards, right? So relationships. I have different categories. I have family, friendships, and love. I had to add love. Let me tell you why. Because Sarah went through my future board and said I didn't have enough pictures of like intimacy and really loving pictures with my husband. I thought I was good because there was some in my travel, but there wasn't. So family, this is me wanting to take my family, on a private jet. This should be in a different category, obviously. It says my family, obviously walking on a beach, This is, you know, kind of signifies me wanting all my children to go to church with me. So that's family. Friendships. So this is like, if you had an awesome core group of friends that you hung out with regularly, what kind of stuff are you going to do? Like, what does that look like? You know, we are water people. We are beach people. We are boat people. So for me, you know, having a bunch of girlfriends, although that's not what me and my girlfriends look like, is on a boat. So let me tell you this. Does everybody know how to use this button right here? Because I didn't. So here's my picture, right? I saw this. I liked it. I don't know if it was the original one I saw. So if you click on that, it brings up more pictures similar to this. So maybe I looked at this. This one's on here because I really liked it. But let's say the first picture I saw was, you know, I don't know. Let's say it was these girls on a beach. This was the first one I saw. Look, Visco girls. This is the first picture I saw. And it's like people on a beach traveling or whatever. And I like that, but I don't have a huge attachment. I don't know. That looks kind of Cape Cod to me. They're kind of younger. They're in shoes, which, you know, so, but I liked it, but it didn't speak to me. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop scrolling and I'm going to click on that, and I can move this to what I like, and it brings me more pictures similar but in different areas. So this one I super like because I feel like that's in Hawaii, and I want to go to Hawaii with my friends, right? So this is it, but maybe those girls are feeling a little too young for me. I'm probably going to keep getting young girls because I'm clicking on them, but then I can narrow it down again. And, you know, there's more beach pictures, more kind of things that I like. So you want to keep doing this until, and you can, like, look, I can do that. Now look, now I've kind of moved into my travel thing, but do you see how I isolated just that part of the picture that I loved? And now look at what I see. Oh, heavens. Like, this sets my heart on fire. Like, Tiffany, Tiffany Adams, this is not your average beach. This is like, all right, let's do this first.
I was going to say, Christy, you're speaking my language right now.
Yes. So, so this one, golly, okay, right now, it automatically wants to put it in great quotes because everybody knows Christy Barkley loves some good quotes. But I don't. I want to move it to my, I'm going to move it, this is going to be in my wealth and abundance. And within my wealth and abundance, I have travel, save. Did everybody just see what I did? But how cool is that you can isolate a certain part of a picture and keep searching things that are similar to that. Super cool, right? All right, we're gonna go back. Let's see what I did because I still haven't printed a picture and put it on my.
Christy, I had a lot of videos come up, and so the videos, like when I did Disney destinations, because I want to do a Disney destination trip.
Yeah.
There were probably the first 20 things in the feed were videos,
Okay.
not pictures.
Let's do this. Ready? Disney destination photography.
Yeah, that's what I did.
You did that?
Yeah. See, so this one is a video, that one that you're kind of.
Yeah.
And
We'll just go past them.
Anyway, I was just saying, so basically that works for pictures, but not really, like, not the video type. I guess what happened was I clicked on that video, and so then I got a ton of videos.
Correct.
That's what I was looking for pictures, but I ended up getting a ton of videos.
Wouldn't it be cool
I
if there was a
clicked on it.
button that said ignore that fact that I clicked on that? So here's Paris Disneyland. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, we zoom into that and there's more. Let's see. Do you want to take your whole family?
Oh, yeah.
See, some don't bring up great things right away. So you got to scroll and then you have to, then you got to click, you know.
Yeah, click
you
and
gotta-
then find.
and then you got to keep clicking. So let me see what happens when I do this. Let me see what happens when I zoom in on these people at Disney. I don't think it picked up on the background very well.
No, it just picked up people.
Just
Yeah.
picked up people.
But that's a cool option. Okay. Well, that makes sense the way I got the video.
helpful?
So it's
Yeah.
because I did click on the video.
Once you click on a video, okay, so here I clicked on this picture, and now we're starting to see families.
Yeah.
at Disney. And then keep zooming in. Keep zooming in until you find one. And once it like hits you, then you're like, okay. But right now, like let's say if you liked this one, Debbie, and you knew you wanted to use this for a search later, save it. Save it in a thing, because these are not your final ones. Okay, so see how I zoomed in, Debbie, on just that one picture? And now look, now we're having more fun. Now we're getting more action, right?
Yes.
And so save any of those, because here's why. Because so what do we have? We have, where's my post-it? Relationships. Questions so far?
What does HBR stand for?
Hustle, believe, receive.
Okay.
That's the name of the method of coaching that I'm getting certified in. And that was her first book, Hustle, Believe, Receive. So you guys have the book, Career and Ambitions. Who has questions about career and ambitions?
That one, she had some good points in.
Yeah. Aaron?
Dreamers.
Yeah.
I just don't understand on that one. I have not done anything with as to how. I mean, I know she kind of put different things out there, but I don't know. It's just hard for me to see how I can do that one.
I was wondering how you would feel about that, because, I mean, Crystalline also is a nurse, so she works in her hospital, but at the same time, we all do Plexus, so we have our network marketing opportunity, and so we tend to dream a lot in that area, right? So I guess maybe a question would be, how do you take what you do and what you love and increase it? You know, how do you increase your income? How do you, what does that look like for you when you're someone who, you know, is trained and certified and has degrees in one specific area, and there tends to be a certain path that you go on and a certain income track that you stay on? Like, how do you bust out of that? So I can see where that would be really, you'd be stuck. So then what you do is you start to think, where do I want to work? Like, where do I want to get up every day and work? And it may not be a specific location. Like, it may not be like, I want to work in Vanderbilt Pediatric Oncology. You know what I'm saying? But it might be like, I don't want to commute very far, or I want to work in a place where nurses are really respected and have a lot of say in what happens, or it could be in a different state. So what does your work environment look like? Because I think there's lots of different, Erin, are you a nurse?
I'm not. I'm an office manager.
An office manager. So like Jamie?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I would bet $100 million that I don't have, that she feels the same way you do, even though we haven't discussed it because we haven't, gone through this with her. But she loves her job and she loves what she does, but she doesn't see any other, where's it going? And she doesn't see, like, in her mind, this is what she does.
Yeah.
And that's it. We're done. So, and she loves it. So there's not a, it's a tough discussion. Like, okay, you love it, but you'd like to make more money and you'd like to be able to do more things, except for this is what you do. It's this bubble. Is that similar? And I don't want to put her thoughts on you. I've just spent so much time talking to her that I know no matter how I try to steer her, this is what she does. And it's like right here. So what I would do is I would start to think, like, what do you want your office to look like? Do you want, would you like to work for a company where you get to work at home and you have a home office? Or would you like to, I think there's a lot of skill sets that you guys have that are very specific, obviously, to medical practices and doctors and whatnot. But I would dare say you have a huge skill set that can apply to almost any company that has managers in the company who are like running the show. And I don't mean like CEO. I mean, like, there are people like my husband on his floor. So for his whole department, they have a floor in this building. And then he has Donna, who he calls Team Mom. And Team Mom manages everything, because she helps with their scheduling, she helps with their travel, she helps keep projects on track, she helps settle people down when there's a certain employee issue. She can, like, Rob just calls her the team mom. And that's, like, you guys are team moms. Like, you're running this whole shebang, but you could do it anywhere. And there are some places and some companies where you could do it probably for a lot more money. Or do you teach? Or do you start a blog for other medical office managers and you tell funny stories, or you tell, like, this happened to me and maybe this is, like, that's where you start to kind of think, where are my passions? What do I love doing? What do I love about what I'm doing now? And can I grow that maybe in a different area? Maybe, so I don't know if I'm helping at all, but what you're going to do is you're not going to put down, like, this is my dream job. You're going to start to look at, like, what does the space where you work look like? And it could be like, what do I wear to work? Like, do you love the ease of putting on scrubs and not having to worry and go to work? Or would you kind of like to work in a big office building where you put on a nice outfit and cool shoes and you'll walk in every day and you're like, not that there's anything wrong with scrubs. Like, I work in my sweatpants every single day. So I'm not knocking, I'm just saying, like I've done both. I've worked where I had to put on a suit and nice shoes and show up with good hair and makeup every day. And currently I work in my sweats every day. And when I have to get ready for something, I'll tell you what, I'm like, oh my God, I used to do this every day. This is awful. So you start to explore, what do you love about what you do? And really start to try to be open to doing the parts of it that you love in a different arena that may, before you know it, open you up to other opportunities. Like, I know what Jamie went to school for, and it wasn't to be a medical office manager, but that was the first job she got out of college. And she's grown and she loves it. But now, like, I look and I'm like, is this still what you want to do when you're 60? Because I feel like there's got to be a cap on your guys' salary at some point. But I'm making that up. That's a story I created in my head. But that's what you think? Or is this what you love and you just want to add some extra things to it? So like for Crystalline, who's a nurse, like Plexus fell into, like she loves it because she loves helping other people. So it's an extra income. She loves being a nurse. She loves being in pediatrics, but you know, sharing health and wellness products fell right in line with what she did. And it added a whole extra like dynamic, Crystalline, speak to this, like a whole extra dynamic and income opportunity to what she does do. Erin, Crystalline, go. Because I'm just talking for you.
No, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that you say. Pretty much, I mean, that is something that comes very natural to me. So I've just kind of integrated it into my routine to continue to build and work toward abundance and, you know, accomplishing my dreams and things like that. I mean, you were there and saw when I had that like huge punch in the face at convention in June.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, you know, exactly, you were there, we both kind of had the same feelings. And so just realizing that actually helping people and wanting people to be happy and healthy and succeed in life is part of my identity and not necessarily the job itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I can do those things tied to the specific job that I do now.
So Erin, that is not a pitch for you to join our Plexus team. That's a pitch for you to start looking around and start looking for other passions of things that make you really happy. Because what Crystalline is talking about, and I'm going to expand on it a little bit more because she is not super clear with cutting in and out, but she had a kind of a come to Jesus, like really God kind of talking to her, where all along she's been like, I'm a nurse. Even if I make $1 million with Plexus, I'm still going to work some hours as a nurse because that's my identity. That's what I've wanted to be since I was a little girl. That's who I am. And she started to realize it isn't. It's a job title. Who she is somebody that loves helping other people, that loves serving other people, that loves training and leading people. And is it possible that her job as a nurse and her training as a nurse has led her to open up so much more? But it doesn't come into your life until you start to open your mind up to opportunities. And it can be as simple as, where do you want to work? You know, what does that look like? Because I know some, like I have friends that do like medical data entry and make a good living, and they do it completely from their house, you know? So do you want to work? There's just a lot, but not until you get out of the mindset of what your job title is, and that's what you do.
Okay.
Is that helpful at all, or did I just muddy the waters?
No, it definitely helps. You know, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what I want to do. So that kind of, I feel like I've asked myself that question for the past couple of years, and I don't know the answer. So
let's start with this, like kind of coming up with some pictures of what it looks like. And then let's have a one-on-one call and dig deeper into that.
Okay.
So, like just to give you an idea, so I have a couple, this is what I want my office to look like. I want a big white office, but I also want to be able to sit by the pool and work with my laptop. I also want to be able to sit in bed and work. And I'm not going to lie, I do all of these things. And when I lived in Nashville, I had an office that was big and white and turquoise. Now I've got a whole bedroom behind me. But I do a lot of these things, but they're super important to me. So it's important for me to continue to see and visualize. And I want to write a book. But at first, you can't just write a book. So I've started with blogging. You know, I try to, write more on social media, and then I try to blog. And so there's steps. So these are to remind me, because it's easy for us to get pulled back into what we do day to day if we don't have this up on our board, right? So this is kind of an example, Debbie, of like, I probably clicked on this one first, and then I probably zoomed in, and it went more to this, and then I probably zoomed in again and it went more to this, but you just kind of keep clicking on things. Here's some more ideas for, you know, writing a book, and what does it look like? Or this is what it looks like to me. I'm sure other people, this is not what writing a book looks like to them. So you're going to start pages like this, and then what you're going to do, I didn't mean to do that. I got my pictures. You are going to slowly, you'll have these bigger boards, and then you're going to, I think this is the first one I did. I don't know. This is it. Then you're going to create a solid future boards. This is where you pull from all your different ones, the ones that you like the most. So let's see, what did I narrow down to in my, looks like this is what I narrowed down to in my writing a book, it looks like. This is what I narrowed down, my friends. Looks like I also want to take my friends on a private plane. So put as many pictures as you want in the different categories, and then you're going to go back and look at them and start pulling very specific ones that mean something to you. So for instance, this to me is my second home in Utah. And we go there with my family in the winter. And so there's snow and there's lights, and it just, this, I look at this and I go, oh, that. I will work really hard to get that. Now, is it going to be that exact picture? No. But it might be close. Did you guys see, did we talk about last week how my future boards picture living room looked so much like the living room in the house that I went to go see? And Rob was super rude at first. I tell you that too. He was like, yeah, it's got windows. But then when we went and we walked through it, he goes, now I see it. Now this is what's on your board. It's just a different color. And I said, and colors can be changed. Okay, more questions, whether it's actual Pinterest, working on questions or category questions. You guys.
Are your boards private in Pinterest? Because the one with the house on the over the water, that one was speaking to me.
This one?
Yes.
No, everything is, I'm glad that you asked. I don't want your guys' Pinterest boards to be private. Do you know why? You got to put it out in the universe. You got to be okay. Not that, I'll be honest, I've never gone to look at anybody else's Pinterest boards. But some people do, and some people get notifications if other people add things. Hush. But make it public and allow people who are friends with you on your Pinterest to see what you're pinning, and hush, and put those things out and share them. Like, here's what I don't want you to be afraid of. I don't want you to be afraid of sharing your dreams with anybody. Like, are there people who would judge me for wanting this Lamborghini SUV? Maybe they think, like, what in the world do you need a Lamborghini SUV for? Like, it's a $250,000 car. I think I could buy a house for that in most places. Would some people think that's obnoxious and judge all kinds of things? Yes, they would. You know what else I learned to work through? Everybody's judgments. Doesn't matter. Like, am I going to put my family in debt to get a Lamborghini SUV? No. Do I want one? Yes. So don't be afraid of judgment. Pin a lot, because also, I talked to Crystalline about this, and I've mentioned it before, but now it's going to really come into play. If you are having a funky day, get on your Pinterest and start looking at your boards and start daydreaming. Daydreaming is part of your hustle. Your hustle doesn't just have to be the grind of actually doing working steps. The hustle can be daydreaming. Like, I'll be honest. Has Christy Barkley been working on this back? No. But it's on my wall up here. I'm going to. Does everybody know how to take them off of Pinterest and start making your board?
No.
Let's see. Is this a download or take me to the thing? That's it. Take me to the thing. Here's what I do, Debbie. Where's my thing? I right click on it and I save image as. I'm gonna call it back picture. So there's my back picture, right? It's down here. I just saved it. All right, I'm gonna open up Word, and you could just print that and control the size. But here's what I did so that I made them smaller. So here's my Word document, Debbie. I'm gonna click on Insert. Oh, where'd my thing go? What am I gonna do? Why am I drawing a blank? Insert, where's my picture thing? Tiffany, talk to me. Oh, pictures. I'm sorry, I had to make it bigger. Pictures. Let me go downloads, back picture, insert, and then make it the size that you want. So for mine, for most of them, I put 4 pictures on each sheet. And then I printed it and I cut them out. So I probably have, let's see, insert pictures. Let's look. I may be good and I may not. Let's see. Oh, give me a second. Do the things. Are there pictures? Okay. Here's the cleaning lady I want. So what did I do? Right?
I'm seeing a frozen screen. Is anybody else? Like right now your screen isn't doing what you're doing on the video.
Oh.
Just so you know.
Am I frozen?
I think the screen is frozen.
Yeah,
Like
Tiffany.
your screen share.
Okay. Well, Debbie, were you able to see, did it freeze the whole thing? Or did you see how I saved the picture? Basically, that's it.
Yeah, I think I can figure it out. If I have issues, I will
message me.
reach out.
But you're just going to click on your picture. You're going to right click and you're going to save.
There we go.
Does that work?
That one worked. Yeah. For whatever reason, it was frozen. Who knows?
So, here's my Salt Lake home. Right click, save image as, and give it a name. And then you're going to print them whatever size you want. Has anybody started printing pictures yet?
I haven't started printing pictures, but so you guys know that I started kind of doing this with Christy in July. She started feeding me some of this. And at that time, my background on my phone was Christy. It was the collage you put together in Maui with my name in the sand and the emerald that says, work hard, you can do it, Yeah. And that had been my background. And I thought, you know what? This is not me. Like, that's part of what I want, but this is not me. So I took it off and I went to my local jeweler website and I designed my dream 3-carat diamond ring and I took a picture. And there was a point in my life after I had my second baby that my body was exactly the way I wanted it. I weighed 120 pounds. I had abs. I was super fit. And I have that picture. So I took that picture and I put it there. And I found the house that we want to build and the colors and the right, the look. And I put that on there. And I put all of these things together in a collage. And I put, I am worthy in pink, big glitter letters. And that is my background now. So that's kind of like it's not my board, but it's kind of the basis. Those are my things that I want for me.
I love that so much.
Barkley's Emerald Collage from Hawaii.
I love that because look, I'm going to show you. Let's see. I'm going to close real quick before we end. I'm going to close out all of my stuff. Oh, hold on. I did close out. I hit the wrong button. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, oh, here. Can you guys see this? Did it share?
Yes.
So this is my screensaver on my computer. Here's my Greece trip and swimming with turtles. Here's my cleaning lady. Here's my visit to the castles. You guys know I'm having a chef because I hate cooking. Here I'm a speaker. I'm traveling, and this was at the very, very beginning of stages. So most of these pictures are not actually on my future board wall. I should probably recreate something here, but this is also the background on my phone. I would encourage you guys to do that. You're gonna make them bigger to cut out. Mine are on my wall. You can have a board. TJ Maxx has a lot of, TJ Maxx and Home Goods has a lot of cool boards that are like $15. Cool.
How big is your board?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
It's on my wall. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm taking my camera off. Sorry.
So it's that on your wall?
That's my wall.
Okay.
Because this space right here, I didn't feel like was big enough. And this space was so low that my dog would eat it if I did that. So this is mine. So there's room to grow. And I just taped them all to my wall. But your husband may not want you to tape pictures all to your wall. So you may need to get a board and give it a spot. But
I had somebody
give it a spot where you can see it regularly every day.
I took a class and they talked about vision boards, and they said if you don't want to put something up, like if you don't have a cork board or something like that, they said don't let that stop you. Just take tape and just give it borders. They said it's important to give it borders so that it's a bordered thing.
You know what?
I can't remember why.
Yeah, I would be curious why. To me, that like locks you in. If that's your,
I'll have to see if I could find my notes on it.
I don't know. Well, that's not a rule, but there is a rule that it can't have any quotes.
No quotes.
No quotes at all. The only words you can use are if you want to kind of signify like here's relationships, and you can write relationships or career. No.
Oh,
quote.
you can divide. You can do the different areas.
You can if you want to do that, and you can give that its specific name, but no quotes.
Okay.
All right. Questions? How you guys feeling so far? The workers had to jump off, so I got about a few more minutes. How you guys feel? Like, are we making progress? Is this worthwhile?
It is definitely worthwhile. It's just bringing up a lot of stuff for me. So I have been stalled because it's bringing up, I've been overwhelmed.
Okay. That's fair. Remember, I turned into an Oompa Loompa.
So I'm still working through that.
Okay. And if you want any help, let's get on calls and work through it and make some progress. So also keep in mind, you know, now that you guys are going through this, I think this will be really good for us to like offer our teams, you know, you guys can really share, like pitching it to your teams and doing it with small segments of groups to, you know, this kind of takes your why to like the nth degree. You know, we had a why, we had our little story, but now we have like a huge story. In my opinion, I personally do. This has taken my why and like blown it up. And also given it different facets. So.
I was going to ask you how you feel since we're all Plexus now.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so we don't have to worry.
Right.
Because I don't want it to turn into something like that for the others.
Yes.
Erin. Basically, Erin's the only one. Is she using Plexus, or is she just, you know her from something else?
She works with my sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law sometimes shares my Do the Things post and has gotten some followers on Do the Things based on things that I've written. And so I asked her to share when I was doing future boards, and Erin just happened to be one person that jumped on board. So I don't know that she knows the first thing about Plexus, except for now she's my friend on Facebook, so she's learning a little.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So how do you feel about your speaking and how do you feel that meshes with your Plexus?
Like my wanting to be a speaker
Or the
do the thing.
do the things. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. So I think that, I think when it was processing, it for sure slowed my plexus because I had to take a little step back to dig really deep through the life coaching when I was going through the process. And I've had to spend some time learning and growing and kind of how you said, like, you're kind of going through some things, like this is digging up stuff. Like doing a one-on-one coaching with her dug up more stuff than I ever dreamed after my years of therapy could be dug up. And it was really, sometimes were really difficult for me in a good way. They expanded me. I grew. I worked through so much that I thought I had worked through. But while it was happening, there was a part of me that was like immediately like, oh, I want to go teach this to everybody while it was happening. But I quickly realized that if I tried to do that, I would halt my own personal progress. I needed to focus on me 100%. And that meant like getting quiet in my mind and slowing down and meditating and journaling, which there's only 24 hours in a day, right? So that meant I wasn't doing as much active in my plexus business while I was going through that. So looking at my numbers and looking at my pay, which is scary small, and all of that, my husband actually looks at it now and said that was worth it, because now he sees, now I'm like, okay, now let's go. Now let's do this. So the way I see it working together and separately, so my life coaching will be available to anybody. And it will pay really well as I get going. And so that will take up some of my time. But the skills that I have learned and the actual 8-step process that I'm only a few weeks away from being certified on and on teaching anybody. Like I have a client now, but it's a pro bono client, and my coach listens to my calls with her and then critiques me and helps me. That is going to transpire into something huge for our team. Like I was telling Deanna yesterday, I had my call with Kristen yesterday, and the issue that she was having is one that I have had for a long time, but I didn't know how to help her with it because I was still having it. But then I worked through this huge thing with my life coach, and so then I was able to help Kristen with it, and I literally saw the light go on in her eyes and go, oh, okay. Now, whereas before, like she and I have both had this problem, so we've talked about it before, but neither one of us were getting anywhere with this certain block that we were having because neither one of us knew how to get through it. But through this coaching process that I went through, I got through it, which meant I got crystalline through it. And it will still be working. We'll have a call next week to go through it a little more. But as I can help our team members break down these areas that otherwise I recognize and I empathize, but I couldn't get them through it because I hadn't learned the steps to get through it myself. Was I reading every book? You guys know I'm reading every book. I'm doing all the things, and I'm like, well, I can't. We're stuck. And now I have learned literally an 8-step process to get people unstuck and moving. And I will offer that free to anyone on our team who is working the business. So somebody can't join for $99 and then get my $2,000 coaching program for free, right?
No.
But somebody who is working the business, who wants to sign up and do the work, it's an 8-week program, and dig deep, I have no doubt that's going to benefit our team, because I already, like I feel already for me, myself, now that I'm 3 weeks past my being coached, now that I'm parlaying it into now I'm working, now I'm putting it into action because I've done the work on myself. I feel so good, and my husband sees it. He's like, you're not really making any money yet, but he sees a huge shift in my momentum and my excitement and my drive, which I feel like I had lost because I was tired of being in the same place for as long as I have been. And
Yeah.
and the reason, like, and I may have told you this, but he was furious. This coaching is $8,000 is what I have paid for this.
Mm-hmm.
He was pissed because, I mean, I'm not even making $3,000 a month. And you guys know how important, like, what I make is for us living here in Fort Lauderdale. We've talked about that. So he was really angry with me. And now he's like, I see it. This has been worth the investment. He does ask every so often, he's like, when are you going to be done paying for it? Because I pay in monthly installments. And he would love for me to be done paying for it because it's taking up over a third of my paycheck now. But he has seen such a huge shift in me. And if I can help, like those of you that we've been doing this for 2-3 years, we're stuck. And if I can help each of you pivot and shift and dig deep so that we get unstuck, each in our own individual way, do you know what that's going to do for our team?
Huge.
Huge. Huge. I told him, I said, I have no doubt me getting certified as this coach. I said, even if I want other clients, like I want to have clients that are not Plexus, but just getting each of you guys through this program when you are ready will pay huge dividends to our team because it will make you a better coach to your people. It will make you a better leader, and it will allow you to do things in your business that you haven't been able to do for the last 2 years. And I believe that 100%. And I told my husband, I said, this $8,000 investment is going to make Team Hope a diamond team. No doubt in my mind, because you guys are going to work through things and going to become people that you thought you could be, but have not been able to figure out how to get there. Does that help you? Is that what you were looking
tremendously.
for?
Do you want to hit?
Do you
want to stop the recording?
Oh, yeah. And I think I can edit that. Thank you.
Okay. No, I didn't. I just didn't want to interrupt you, but it's still recording.
Oh, hold on. Stop.